My name's Rachel Lowrance. I've been here at Grand Prairie Animal Services for a little over a year. It's been about a year and 2 months, and I love it.
JT Mormon. I'm working for the City of Grand Prairie and Animal Services Division. I've been working for about a little bit over a year.
When you are an officer with Animal Services here, you work in 3 areas. There's the dispatch, which is like answering phones, processing adoptions, doing paperwork, that kind of stuff. There's the field, where you're actually answering the calls. You're going out in the field, you're picking up dogs, picking up strays, that kind of stuff. And there's working in the shelter. And that's taking care of the animals that have been brought into the shelter. And so right now I'm working in the shelter, and when I work in the shelter, I first start out right at the beginning every day, I'm cleaning. It's cleaning all day. From 9 to 6 it's cleaning. But it's really important because we have to make sure everything's clean to keep the animals healthy. Another not so glamorous part of this job, but something that's important to do, is when you clean the cage, for whatever reason, they always decide to poop right away. So I find the easiest thing to do is just pick it up with my hand. So, I got your poopies. No. Every kennel has to be cleaned every single day. And so there's community service people that come in and they help clean. But if none of them are here, I clean the whole place by myself. There's also there's quarantine areas where there are bite dogs or aggressive dogs, and nobody is allowed in there but an officer. And so those areas have to be cleaned by an officer every day. If community service people come in, we check them in, get them into an area to start cleaning, laundry, dishes, other cages, and then community service people are leaving and coming and going all day long, and so we're checking them in as well all day. And then at the same time, there are citizens that are bringing animals in, whether it's a stray or it's their own personal pet. All day long, that happens. And there's also citizens that are coming in to adopt, and so we have to help them. You want to match them to a great animal that's going to be great for their family and their special needs. And then if they meet, you want them to meet and introduce them and play a little bit. And if they work out, then you also get them adopted and get all that started. And so it's a long day. Yeah. But it's good because, we can have those little victories when the dogs get adopted and we're all excited and happy for them. And those are like the good things that make it worth it.
When we first get here, the most important thing is we have to check our truck. So we have our AM log and our PM, so of course in the morning and the afternoon. So basically you just kind of go through the checklist of we're checking the fluid, which is checking the oils and stuff. I make sure all my lights are on, I just flip them on, I go and check that. After I check off the list, I put my list up, I go and just make sure I have everything I need for that day. We also load our trucks up full of cat food, dog food, water, our catch poles, anything that we could possibly use as a tool. Your snake tongs, which you use for picking up the venomous snakes or the non-venomous snakes, depending on if you want to touch the snakes or not. And then your main tool is your catch pole, of course. When I'm driving by myself, I have the catch pole up front with me, just so I can have it at any point in time. I need it always easily accessible to me so I can jump out at any time of the truck. So we load up our trucks and then we go out on our calls. Usually in the morning, we have our trap calls that we go to first of people who trapped at night, trying to limit the population of feral cats, and if we have dog traps. Cat in the back?
Yeah, and it's urinating everywhere.
Oh, that's the good way to do them. We don't ever want it to be easy. Our emergency calls are our priority. We get emergency calls throughout the day. You never really know what you're going to get. Could be something as small as a cat stuck in a drain to anything as a fire where you have to go out and assist the fire department, to where an animal that got hit by a car. So not only do we have domesticated animals, we also get feral animals, and as well as wildlife, as we get raccoons, snakes, possums, any sort of wildlife we'll go out on. And then you have your dailies, which are going to be your stray roams, your nuisance cat, where you need to go write them a notice. And writing notices is one of the biggest parts of this job. Every call we go out on, we have to write a notice. We put their address down, the date, the activity number. Every call we have has an activity number, so we can relate it later, explaining what they did wrong, what we need them to fix, and of course providing us with the proof of rabies that's on every single call. First question, is it alive or dead?
It's alive.
So it's alive, it's a puppy?
Between the transmission.
The emergencies are the good ones, where we get to go out and it's always something different. So prioritizing would be based off of how you feel of what would be the most important, what would be considered the most emergency at that time.
Oh.
Do you remember hearing that call earlier about somebody looking for a dachshund with the thing? I think this might be him. Hey. Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. You never know what's going to happen. Dog on a transmission, you could kind of figure what was going to happen. I didn't know it was going to be a dump truck when we got out there. I didn't know the transmission was going to be in the back. The dog was aggressive at first because he was scared. He's calmed down. We know he's going to be a good dog. Hey, it's okay. I ain't going to hurt you. And so it's a dog in a bad situation, in a kind of unusual situation, that's going to now get to have a chance to go into a good home. On this one, we're not going to be able to pick up. I don't have my towel with me. So we're going to walk him. You have a nice day. The biggest reward is when you have an animal that's in a bad situation, where you get to remove them from the horrible situation that they're in, get them back to the shelter, get them healthy, and then of course they get adopted out, or you get to go to a good home. So you're taking something out of a bad situation, and you're turning a bad situation into a good one where they get to go home.
We help get them adopted, and unfortunately we also have to euthanize. So that's, in the shelter you do that a lot, and that can be a very, very difficult thing. What's going on? You can't keep her.
I just can't give her enough time because I'm a full-time dad and I work full-time, so.
Okay, come on.
Maggie, come on.
Come on, sweetie. Just hold on.
Yeah.
When people come into our receiving area to surrender their animals, we say the same thing. We are full, your animal will more than likely be euthanized. And they're like, oh, it's okay, he'll get a good home. It's like they don't know, they don't believe it or something. I don't understand that. And I don't think people really realize. Well, unfortunately we can't call you. We have too many animals that come in here to do that. Like, it would have to be, you just have to make the choice. Okay, that's fine.
By far the hardest part of this job is knowing that we have too many animals in the city and not enough homes for them to go to. Until
People take responsibility for their pets. Pet parents need to be spaying and neutering their animals, containing them in their yards, taking care of them the way they should. This will always be a problem. There's a lot of downside to this job, so you have to be really strong emotionally, physically, all that. So it's a rewarding job, but you have to walk a mile before you can get to the reward, and it's not easy. We do have a lot of special moments, and it helps a lot because it does help the bad times balance out with the good times. And although the euthanizing is extremely difficult and the hardest part of the job, we actually have a very high adoption rate. It's almost 60%. So more dogs are getting out of here the good way than the bad way. And those little victories are the ones that we celebrate. It's satisfying knowing you did a good job is when you come back to the shelter, or you have a problem animal and you've slowly fixed what I consider fixing a part of the city, where you've caught an animal that's been a nuisance to people and you've cleaned up a section of the city, and the people are happy. So you did your job, and that's really rewarding, is knowing you actually did your job that day. If somebody were to want to work here, I would stress so much that it is not playing with puppies all day and enjoying that, and it is very difficult. It is mentally, emotionally, and physically challenging, and it never gets boring, But I think we have a really great shelter here. I think that somebody who works here is lucky, but it's a lot of work. so quite a lot of work, but I can't imagine doing anything else.